Shalom, everyone. I'm going to continue the series of the famous Rabbanim of yesteryear. And now we're exploring the life of another great Moroccan rabbi. His name was Rabbi Eliyahu Hatzarfati Z'tl. He was born actually in the English year 1715 and passed away in the year 1805, approximately just around 220 years ago. Chaf Vav Elul, reported over, is the date of his Hilula, the 26th of Elul. He became a great Dayan, a judge in different areas of Morocco, including Fez. He became a Posek Halacha, a rabbi that renders different halachic decisions, Torah-based decisions, and was the author of many great Torah works. He came from the illustrious Hatzarfati family, which is one of the famous families from Morocco, which we've brushed on before, and let's explore some of the highlights of the great rabbi's life. So he was born in the area of Fez in Morocco. This was, I believe this is actually the second largest city in Morocco in of itself, and very, very great prominent place. This was in the year 1715 he was actually born. And he came from great rabbinic heritage. His father's name, Rabbi Yosef Hatzarfati, and they were parts of a great family of many, many rabbis from the, let's say, the Sephardi dynasty over here. They actually, I believe, trace themselves back all the way to Rabbeinu Tam, and who happened to be, I think, the grandson of Rashi. And from many, many great rabbis they actually descended from, if I'm not mistaken. And I think he was of the 15th generation, if I'm not mistaken, from this illustrious line. Rabbi Eliyahu Hatzarfati learned with the great rabbis of the city, I think including Rabbi Yehuda ben Attar, who was, I think at that point in time, the outstanding Posek of halacha in the whole of Morocco. There was also Rabbi Shmuel ibn Elbaz, another very great rabbi. He was very close to connections to Rabbi Chaim ibn Attar, another rabbi we've spoken about on various occasions before. I think at one stage in time there was troubleshoops in the city with regards to famine and food shortages. So I think they actually moved on to different places, and I think he left that specific vicinity, if I'm not mistaken, with various different rabbis, including Rabbi Chaim ibn Attar, Rabbi Yaakov ben Ibn Sur, and many of the great rabbis of the city in of itself. And they looked for another place to which would sustain themselves much better. And I think they moved to the area called Tetuan over there. And obviously great Rabbanim coming inside the city gave a huge injection of Torah and spirituality in that specific area. Then I think in the year 1741, at that stage he would be 26 years old, he would return to Fez over there. And very much there was, obviously now the injection of great amounts of Torah came back into Fez at that stage in time. I think he was conversing with many of the great sages at that stage in time in the areas of Fez, Tetuan, including Rabbi Menachem Atiyah, who happened to, I think they're one of the great rabbis, or one of the great Kabbalists, and one of the great heads of court of the Tetuan community, if I'm not mistaken. There was also other great rabbis, including Rabbi Yitzchak Halevi, and many of his students were sent to serve in various different halachic positions all throughout the different vicinities over there. It's actually interesting, afterwards, he actually was appointed to the Dayanut. He got a position as a judge. I think at that around the year of 1750, it was actually, I think, through Rabbi Yaakov ibn Sur, who was another great rabbi over there, and Posek, Kabbalist, the Darshan, Patan also, he gave him the Dayanut, and he became, I think, part of the Bet Din in the Jewish court in Fez, and he sat in a Bet Din with various different great rabbis of the city in of itself, including Rabbi Shaul ibn Danan, Rabbi Eliyahu Hatzarfati, Rabbi Raphael Oved ibn Sur, Rabbi Ephraim Monsonigo, another great rabbi, and Rabbi Matitya Siriro, another great rabbanim, was a great rabbis of great caliber at that stage in time. I was grappling with many different issues. These great rabbanim were inside the vicinity itself. I think Rabbi Yehuda ben Attar Hasheni also, and many of them grappled with various different questions that had came about throughout. They had to give paskin various different halachic responses within regards to different happenings going on in those specific areas. They brought, I think, different takanot, enactments, also within those regards, those territories in of itself. He himself was known for his great drashot. He gave really, really great sermons, and really awakened, let's just say, the city in of itself. He trained many different rabbinic students. He trained and developed rabbis in that specific area. In synagogues on Shabbat, he would give grandiose sermons. He would help the needy inside the city. He took care of the needs of all the different people within regards to the vicinity. He gave hundreds and hundreds of sermons, and many of them later on will be published among various of the different books. And one of his outstanding students was another great rabbi, Rabbi Raphael Aaron Monsonigo. Now, we've spoken about the great Monsonigo family on various different occasions. He also was, I think, one of the great rabbis of the 19th century of Fez, respectively. He always aspired also to emigrate to the land of Israel. That was one of his dreams. And he told many of the great rabbis in Fez and Tetuan about his ambition over there. And I think he was conversing very much with other great rabbis, including Rabbi Yosef ben Naim, with regards to this, and sent letters about this. And there was Rabbi Yosef Hatzarfati, Rabbi Yitzchak Hatzarfati, Rabbi Vidal, also many of the great rabbis over there, Rabbi Yitzchak Hatzarfati, or the great Sarfati family in of itself, were really, really great rabbis, and he was conversing with many of them, and he really wanted this wave of Aliyah to come about, where many of the people would actually come eventually and make Aliyah. I don't think he made the Aliyah at the end of that stage in time, but it really was an ambition of his. And I think at that stage, also his teacher and Rabbi Chaim Ibn Attar actually did eventually move to the land of Israel. He became a great rabbi in Israel, respectively, but he did not necessarily follow suit. And I think he had connection also with the famous Yavetz, also Rabbi Yaakov ben Reuben Ibn Sur, also, who happened to be the head of the Jewish court over there. And this, unfortunately, did not come to fruition. His making Aliyah did. He suffered troubles also in life. I think his wife passed away during his lifetime, Marat Rabbanit Miriam, I believe in the year Hey Taf Kuf Lamet Chet, and reported over. Sadly, two of his sons passed away in his lifetime, including Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yosef, and also his daughter also sadly passed away, I think, during his lifetime also. And reported over also other troubleships, unfortunately. I think his son-in-law, Rabbi Shmuel ibn Danan, passed away also during his lifetime. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, grandchildren also did. He lived himself around 91 years of age, if I'm not mistaken. So he lived a longish life, I think, relative to the life expectancy at that point in time. In fact, the Chida, the famous Rabbi Chaim Yosef David Azulay, praised him with the most lavishest praises and called him one of the outstanding Talmidei Chachamim, a great one, and mentioned him in many of his Sheilot, if I'm not mistaken, and really paid him the highest compliments. He passed away at the age of 91 years old. I think it actually happened on a Friday night, in the middle of the night, Chatzot Alayla. It was naturally Chaf Vav Elul in the Hebrew Hey Taf Kuf Samachay 1805. He was buried in the city of Fez, and he would write colossal works, which many of them stayed in manuscript. I believe they actually moved his kever, his burial place, at one stage in time. I'm not too sure the exact year, and he was buried close to the famous Sulika Hatzadeket. Also, that maybe we'll speak about her on another point of time. Maybe another shiur will dedicate towards Sulika, Rabbinit Sulika. Okay, now let's talk about some of the great works he wrote. He authored, including the Tana Debate Eliyahu, which was a shut. It was a Sheilot and Shuvot. I think it was originally part of a manuscript, and it was printed, I think, eventually in the year Tafshin Ayin Aleph. Then there was a Kol Eliyahu, which was basically drushim on the Torah, various expoundations of the Torah itself. Then there was Eliyahu Zuta, which was Likutei Eliyahu, which was based on various different drashot, pidpulim, with regards to high level analytical learning. I think many of it came out with regards to various different rabbis in Morocco. I'm not sure if it's still a manuscript or not. Then there was an Ara Bocha, which is various drushim, various different explanations on many things, especially connected to the city of Fez in itself. Then there was Aderet Eliyahu, also another great work, which was drushim on the Torah, the 5 books of Moses. Then there's a Sifreit Shuvot Upaskim, which was Mukubsim B'Ktei Yad Shonim, various different manuscripts all gathered together. There's Shemo Lechem, which was Chidushim on the Torah, also once again teachings on Torah. I think it was, he actually, if I'm not mistaken, wrote this when he was 17 years of age. Then there was Teshuvot, Paskim, which is Shelot and Teshuvot, questions and answers on the 4 parts of the Code of Jewish Law, Shulchan Aruch respectively. Then there was Igrot, ומכתבים, then there was פתגמים, מליצות ומashlim. I don't know if these are still manuscript or were published. Shirim and Piyutim, he actually printed various different songs and poems, respectively. Likutei Eliyahu, this was another great work. Chidushim ubiurim ala Tanakh. On the Torah, Nevi'im and Ketuvim, he would write down explanations in it. The Agudat Talmud Ma'at Chidushim al Rambam. He wrote various different novelties and teachings within regards to Rambam, Maimonides, respectively. Another great work was Likutei Batar Lakuti, which was Klali, let's just say, over there. One of the great rabbis, remember he lived at the time period, including among his Talmidim, was Rabbi Shaul Yeshual Abitbol, another very great rabbi. Rabbi Shlomo Abitbol also. These were rabbis of the highest caliber. Rabbi Raphael Aaron Montenegro, who we spoke about just before. Rabbi Mordechai Alevi. Rabbi Moshe Al-Moshnina. Rabbi Shalom Hanikra Ma'aman. These were great rabbis. Among his rabbis himself, those were his Talmidim. Among his rabbis, Rabbi Yehuda ben Etar, Rabbi Shmuel Elbaz, and Rabbi Chaim ben Atar. He was one of the great Moreh Tzedeks from the Abvet Din, head of the Jewish courts over there, a Dayan, an expert within regards to Halacha, and gave the most grandiose sermons possible. He passed away in 1805, close to around 220 years ago from time of recording. Please don't forget to light candles in his memory. Friends, we are a community here. We're covering the history of many of the great Rabbanim of yesteryear. One of the only places you find online covering this in English. We've covered more than 400 rabbis. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like the videos. Please drop me a comment. I'm wishing you all a great day and a Shavua Tov and Brach. Take care.